Hello everyone, welcome back to online lectures on nanotechnology and surface engineering. We are continuing our topic of surface composites. In our last lecture, we studied up to glass fibers. Now we will move forward with our next topic. Our next topic is carbon fiber. So, carbon-carbon covalent bond is the strongest in nature. So we will see that who made the first carbon fiber. It was made by Thomas Edison from bamboo when experimenting with the light bulb. Now we will see the difference between carbon fiber and graphite fiber. Carbon fiber contains 80 to 95% of carbon, and graphite fiber contains more than 99% of carbon. So that is the fundamental difference between carbon fiber and graphite fiber. The another difference is carbon fiber is produced at 1300 degree Celsius, while graphite fiber is produced above 1900 degree Celsius. Even though there is a difference between carbon fiber and graphite fibers, generally carbon fiber is the common word which is used for both of these. And carbon fibers are made from two types of precursor materials. First is polyacrylonitrile, that is pan based, and second is rayon pitch, which is residue of petroleum refining, and it is pitch based. So these are the two precursor materials out of which carbon fibers are made. Then we will slightly go into depth of carbon fiber. So first of all, precursor fiber is carbonized rather than melting. Filaments are made by controlled pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is a process of chemical deposition by heat. So filaments are made by controlled pyrolysis of precursor material in fiber form by heat treatment at temperature 1000 to 3000 degrees Celsius. So these precursor materials are passed through heat treatment process at temperature of 1000 to 3000 degrees Celsius, and it is done by a controlled pyrolysis process, which is chemical deposition by heat. Now different fibers have different morphology, origin, size and shape, and among this, morphology is dependent on the manufacturing process. The size of individual filament ranges from 3 to 14 micrometer. So they are very flexible because there is a diversity in the filament size. And maximum temperature of use of these fibers ranges from 250 degrees Celsius to 2000 degrees Celsius. And as we have seen in our material science also, that the properties will change with the temperature at higher temperature. And the maximum temperature of use of composite is controlled by use temperature of matrix. So the maximum temperature of composite depends on the matrix temperature. Apart from this, modulus and strength of carbon fibers are controlled by a process, that is thermal decomposition of the organic precursor under well controlled condition of temperature and stress. So here this is the way we are controlling the modulus and strength of the carbon fiber. And they have heterogeneous microstructure consisting of number of laminar ribbons. That's why the carbon fibers are anisotropic in nature. So this is all about carbon fibers. Next we will move forward with organic fibers, or they are also known as aramid fibers. Now why they are called aramid fibers? Because it is a family of nylon which is known as aromatic polyamide, and when you combine the first letters of aromatic and last letters of polyamide, it becomes aramid fibers. And one more thing regarding the nomenclature, here is polyamide 6 is also nylon 6, and polyamide 6.6 is also nylon 6.6, and they are melt spun from liquid solution. So organic fibers are made by melt spun from a liquid solution, and as far as morphology is concerned, they are radially arranged crystalline sheets resulting into anisotropic properties. So this organic fibers are also having anisotropic properties. Filament diameter is about 12 micrometer and they are partially flexible. If we go back into carbon fibers, then the size of individual filaments was having a good range, that is 3 to 14 microfibers. That's why they were very flexible. However, in case of organic fibers, the filament diameter is about 12 micrometer only. That's why they are partial flexible. However, they have very high tensile strength, intermediate modulus, and very low elongation up to a breaking point. So they are not good at elongating. Then they have significantly lower strength in compression. DuPont developed these fibers under a trade name Kevlar. And there are 5 grades of Kevlar with varying engineering properties are available, as you can see at the bottom. Kevlar 29, Kevlar 49, similarly 100, 119 and 129. So these are the 5 grades of Kevlar. Then let's move forward towards another form of advanced fibers, that are the ceramic fibers, and they are essentially boron. It was first advanced fiber developed for a structural application. These are ceramic monofilament fibers manufactured by CVD on a tungsten core of 12 micrometer diameter. So as you can see in this figure, that the core is tungsten and they have boron on the outer portion. So fiber itself is a composite. These are circular in cross section, as it can be seen. Fiber diameter ranges from 33 to 400 micrometer, and the typical diameter is 140 micrometer. Boron is brittle, hence large diameter results in lower flexibility. And the thermal coefficient mismatch between boron and tungsten results in thermal residual stress during fabrication cool down to room temperature. So here, as you can see, that ceramic fibers have 2 constituents inside them, tungsten and boron, and tungsten and boron both have different thermal coefficient. That's why when we are cooling down them to room temperature during fabrication process, there is thermal residual stresses present inside these ceramic fibers. When coated with silicon carbide, they can also be used to reinforce light alloys. These fibers are strong both in tension and compression. They exhibit linear axial stress strain relationship up to 650 degree Celsius. So they are good at elongation also. However, they have high cost of production. So this is all about ceramic fibers. Apart from this, there is also one more ceramic fiber, that is alumina Al2O3. These are ceramics fabricated by spinning a slurry mix of alumina particles and additives to form yarn, which are then subjected to controlled heating. Fibers retain strength at higher temperature. So this is all about alumina. Now one more ceramic fiber is silicon carbide. There are two methods by which silicon carbides are made. First method is CVD on tungsten or carbon. So in this case, carbon pyrolytic graphite coated carbon core SCS6. This fiber is similar in size and microstructure to boron. So this is very similar to boron. They are relatively stiff and size are up to 140 micrometer. Second method is Nicolon by Japan. So here there is a controlled pyrolysis process. Again, pyrolysis, if you recall, it is chemical deposition by heat. And this filament is similar to carbon fiber in size. And here the size is only 14 micrometer. And if you see, with the help of first method, that was CVD, the size was 10 times more than the second method. So this was relatively stiff. However, with Nicolon we have size very small and they are, that's why, more flexible also. Silicon carbide shows high structural stability and strength retention even at temperature above 1000 degrees Celsius. So they have very high structural stability and strength with temperature changes, and specifically at very high temperature. Now let's discuss about cross-sectional shapes of fibers. There are, in this slide you can see there are three sections: circular, elliptical and triangular. Circular have examples like glass, carbon, organic fiber, alumina and silicon carbide. Elliptical fibers are alumina and mullite. Triangular fibers are silk, silicon carbide, viscose. Next shapes are hexagonal, and their example is sapphire Al2O3 viscose. Rounded triangular, these are sapphire Al2O3 single crystal fiber. Then kidney bean shape, that is of carbon. Trilobal, which I have examples of carbon and rayon. Now let's move forward with types of matrix materials. So first is polymers. There are two types of polymers: thermoplastic and thermosetting. So first of all, thermoplastic means they are softened upon heating. Thermoplastics are softened upon heating and can be reshaped with heat and pressure. And thermosettings become a cross-link during fabrication and do not soften upon reheating. So you can clearly see the difference between thermoplastic and thermosetting. In case of thermoplastic, they soften upon heating, and thermosetting do not soften upon heating. There are other matrix materials, metals, ceramics, graphites and carbon. However, our major focus will be on thermoplastic and thermosetting. So let's move forward with this. So first we will discuss about thermoplastics. There are few examples which are given: polypropylene, polyvinyl chloride, that is also famous as PVC, nylon, polyurethane, polyether ketone, that is PEEK, polyvinyl sulfide, that is PPS, and polysulfone. Now, as far as properties of thermoplastics are concerned, they have higher toughness, high volume, low cost processing, and temperature range even exceeds 225 degrees Celsius. Thermoplastics are increasingly used over thermosets because of the following reasons. So, we will see the advantages of thermoplastics over thermosets. First is processing is faster than thermoset composites, since because there are no curing reaction is required. Thermoplastic composites requires only heating, shaping and cooling. They have better properties, that is high toughness and damage tolerance, low moisture absorption, chemical resistance, and they have low toxicity. However, the only disadvantage of thermoplasts over thermosets is cost of thermoplast is high. Now let's see about thermosets. Examples of thermosets are polyesters, epoxies, polyimides and other resins. Now few good things about polyesters are low cost, good mechanical strength, low viscosity, versatility, good electrical properties, good heat resistance, cold and hot molding, curing temperature is 120 degrees Celsius. Now let's move forward with thermosets in which we have epoxy. Epoxy resins are widely used for most of the advanced composites. They have many advantages like low shrinkage during curing, high strength and flexibility, adjustable curing range, better adhesion between fiber and matrix, both they have better electrical properties, and they have resistance to chemical and solvents. There are few disadvantages of epoxy, that is they are somewhat toxic in nature. They have limited temperature range up to 175 degrees Celsius. They absorb moisture which affect the dimensional properties. They have high thermal coefficient of expansion and they have slow curing. Now another thermoset is polyimides, and there are few advantages of polyimides: excellent mechanical strength, excellent strength retention for long term in 260 to 350 degrees Celsius range and short term in 370 degrees Celsius range. They have excellent electrical properties, good fire resistance and low smoke emission, hot molding under pressure, and curing temperature is 175 degrees Celsius and 315 degrees Celsius. There are few problems with polymer matrix materials. They have limited temperature range. They have susceptibility to environmental degradation due to moisture, radiation and atomic oxygen in the space. They have low transverse strength. They have high residual stress due to large mismatch in coefficient of thermal expansion, both fiber and matrix. We discussed this point earlier also. Polymer matrix cannot be used near or above the glass transition temperature. So these are few disadvantages of using polymer matrix materials. Now we will discuss about metals which are aluminum, titanium and copper. They have very higher use temperature range. That is, aluminum matrix composite use temperature range above 300 degree and titanium at 800 degrees Celsius. They have high transfer strength, toughness, in contrast with brittle behavior of polymers and ceramics. So polymers and ceramics have very brittle behavior, while metals have high strength and toughness. And in metals there is an absence of moisture and they have high thermal conductivity. That is, specifically copper has high thermal conductivity. There are few disadvantages, that these are heavier. Metals are obviously heavier and they are more susceptible to interface degradation at the fiber matrix interface and they lead to the corrosion. Then ceramics, which are carbon, silicon carbide and silicon nitride. Ceramics have a very high temperature range, that is greater than 2000 degrees Celsius, high elastic modulus and low density. These are the advantages, and as far as disadvantages are concerned, they have brittleness and susceptible to the flaws. Next we will discuss about carbon fibers in carbon matrix. That is, these are known as carbon-carbon composites used under extreme mechanical and thermal loads. So these are used in space applications. They have many advantages like low specific weight, high heat absorption capacity, resistance to thermal shock, high resistance to damage, exceptional frictional properties at high energy levels, resistance to temperatures, chemical inertness and low coefficient of thermal expansion. That is, they have excellent dimensional stability. However, there are few disadvantages like low resistance at oxidation above 500 degrees Celsius, high cost of materials and manufacturing. Now these are few properties of fibers and metric materials. You can pause this video and you can watch if you want. However, this will not be helpful as far as your examination is concerned, but you can see this for reference point of view. Now let's move forward with forms of fibrous composites. So layered composites are known as layer, lamina and ply, and there are three directions. First is axial, that is along fiber length, that is shown here as 1, that is, this is the axial direction. Then there are two transverse direction, which is perpendicular to fiber length or axial direction. Second is in the plane of transverse, as you can see over here. 2 number is in the plane of transverse, and third direction is in the out of the plane transverse. Okay, so this is the third one, and this is known as laminates. Now, forms of fibrous composites. So woven bidirectional composite. There are 3 types of weave: plain, twill and satin. However, our only interest is in lamina and laminate. Fiber and matrix systems. So there are few notations we need to take care. So it is first term will be fiber and second term will be matrix. So here carbon / epoxy, glass / epoxy and Kevlar / epoxy. How at the same time proportion of contents must be mentioned in volume fraction. These are few examples which are given, which you can see by yourself. And these are properties of fibrous materials. So reduction in properties compared to reinforced properties, and you can see this by pausing this video, and this will be only for reference purpose. Now there are few parameters which affect the properties of fibrous composites, like length of fiber, second is orientation of fiber with respect to loading direction, third is shape of fiber, then distribution of fibers in matrix material, properties of fibers, properties of matrix material, proportion of fiber and matrix material. So these are the parameters affecting the properties of fibrous composites. Now we will see the factors affecting the fabrication processes of surface composites. First is user requirement, then performance requirement, total production volume, production rate, cost of production, size of production, surface finish of final product, geometry of product and material. So these are the factors which will affect the fabrication process. Next is fabrication process of fibrous composites. So there are more than 50 processes depending upon the fiber and matrix type and nature. So here are few list of these are the listed ways of listed properties of making the fibrous composites. That is wet / hand layup, spray layup, vacuum bagging, filament binding, pultrusion, resin transfer molding, that is also known as RTM, braiding, vacuum assisted RTM and centrifugal casting. And we will see one by one these processes. First is wet / hand layup. Actually we will continue this in our next lecture, because we are ending this lecture at this point. And let's quickly revise what we have studied today. We began with the carbon fibers, then we studied about organic fibers, then ceramic fibers, ceramic fibers have different types like boron, alumina, silicon carbide, and then we discussed about various cross sections of fibers. Then we classified the matrix materials, that is polymers, metals, ceramics, carbon and graphite. Polymers are of two types, thermoplastic and thermosetting. Then types of matrix materials, thermoplasts, then thermosets. Then we discussed about metals, then ceramics and then carbon. Then the next topic was form of fibrous composites, and we also saw the nomenclature, properties of fibrous composites and factors affecting the fabrication process, and factors and various types of fibrous composites. Now we will see the remaining topics in our next lecture. Thank you for watching this video.